There is a vehicle that has outsold every other luxury SUV in America for years running. Not the BMW X5, not the Mercedes GLE, not the Range Rover or the Porsche Cayenne. The Lexus RX, a vehicle that moved over 270,000 units in the United States in just the first 9 months of 2025, putting it within striking distance of BMW's total US sales across their entire lineup. And yet ask most automotive enthusiasts which luxury SUV they'd buy, and the RX rarely leads the conversation. It gets described as the safe choice, the reliable choice, the sensible choice, and for years Lexus seemed comfortable with that reputation. But a prototype just caught testing at the Nürburgring under heavy camouflage, with significant changes hiding behind that camo on both the front and rear fascias, suggests that Lexus may be done being comfortable. Welcome to MotorDreamer, where we go past the sales charts and into the story the numbers are actually telling. Today we're breaking down the 2026 to 2027 Lexus RX 800h, our vision of where the RX facelift should go, built on real confirmed spy shots, real rumored powertrains, and the very real performance gap that Lexus has been leaving on the table for too long. Before we go further, one thing needs to be clear. The RX 800h is not an officially announced model. What is confirmed, through spy shots published across Auto Evolution, Auto Industria, and Carbike 360 in the past month, is that a heavily camouflaged 2027 Lexus RX facelift prototype has been caught testing at the Nürburgring, with significant changes to the front and rear fascias hidden beneath the camo wrap. What is also confirmed through the rumor mill and industry analysis is that Lexus is considering a new flagship PHEV variant, rumored as the RX 550h+, with a larger battery pack and stronger output than the current RX 450h+. The RX 800h vision we're exploring today takes that confirmed direction and asks the question Lexus has been avoiding. What happens when the RX finally stops playing defense against the Germans and goes on offense? Everything you're about to hear is built on real technology that already exists. The badge is the only thing that isn't confirmed yet. Design is where the 2027 facelift story starts, and where Lexus has been doing something very interesting across their entire lineup. The new Lexus E sedan recently debuted with a revised design language, separate LED daytime running lights, a new grille treatment with partial body-colored elements, and a front fascia that feels more sophisticated and less aggressive than the polarizing spindle grille era. The 2027 RX facelift is expected to follow that same direction. Spy shots show heavy camo concentrated on the front and rear, confirming significant changes to both. Renderings based on the confirmed E's design language suggest a cleaner, more premium grille interpretation, slim angular LED headlights with a new DRL signature, and a revised lower bumper that sits more deliberately. At the rear, new LED taillight graphics and a redesigned bumper complete the update. The overall stance stays lower and longer than most rivals expect from a Japanese luxury SUV. And for the first time in years, reviewers who have seen the camouflaged prototype in person say the RX is no longer playing catch-up on visual presence. Against the BMW X5 in a parking lot, this new face holds its ground. Inside, the 2027 facelift brings changes that current RX owners have been asking for since the current generation launched. Physical controls are coming back. The current RX received criticism for over-relying on touch-capacitive inputs that feel less precise in motion. The facelift addresses this directly with a reworked center console layout that reintroduces tactile controls for frequently used functions. The central display is expected to grow, with Lexus following the industry move toward larger, higher-resolution screens while keeping the interface more intuitive than the outgoing system. The steering wheel gets an update, and the instrument cluster becomes fully digital across more trim levels. What stays, and should stay, is everything Lexus already does better than most of the segment. The 21-speaker Mark Levinson reference surround sound system. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, now standard across the entire lineup for 2026 and carrying into 2027. Wireless charging also now standard, ventilated and heated front seats. The cabin acoustic engineering that makes the RX one of the quietest vehicles in its segment at highway speeds. These are not small things. In a daily driver, the difference between a cabin that genuinely isolates you from the road and one that merely claims to is something you feel on every single commute. Now the part of this story that matters most, and where the honest conversation about the RX has to happen. The current RX 500h F Sport Performance produces 366 horsepower and 406 lb-ft of torque, with a 0 to 60 time of 5.9 seconds. That is the most powerful RX you can currently buy. The BMW X5X Drive 40i does the same run in 5 seconds. The Mercedes GLE 450 does it in 5.3 seconds. And the base RX 350, the volume seller, the one most buyers actually drive off the lot, covers that distance in 7.8 seconds. Edmunds' own testing called that figure pretty slow for a luxury SUV, and noted that buyers merging onto a highway would notice the difference against German rivals immediately. This performance gap has existed for years, and Lexus has lived with it by winning on refinement, reliability, and efficiency instead. But the 2027 facelift and the rumored RX 550h plus PHEV flagship with a larger battery pack and stronger combined output suggests Lexus may finally be ready to close it. The RX 800h Vision represents the ceiling of that ambition. A flagship hybrid system pushing output past 400 horsepower, with instant electric torque filling the low-end response that the current hybrid system still can't fully match against turbocharged German rivals. The technology to build it already exists within Toyota's hybrid engineering portfolio. The question has never been whether Lexus can do it. The question has always been whether they will. Here is the honest criticism that any serious buyer needs to hear before walking into a Lexus showroom. Edmunds ranks the current RX third in its segment, behind the BMW X5 in first and the Mercedes GLE in second. The cargo space at 29.6 cubic feet trails the BMW X5's 33.9 cubic feet, a meaningful difference for families who actually use the cargo area. There is no three-row option in the RX lineup. Buyers who need the third row are redirected to the Lexus TX, which starts higher and targets a different buyer profile. And against truly sporty alternatives, the RX's handling dynamics, while composed and confidence-inspiring, don't deliver the engaged, communicative driving feel that BMW has built its entire luxury identity around. These are not deal-breakers. But they are real limitations that the 2027 facelift does not appear to address structurally. The RX is being refined, not reinvented. And buyers who go in expecting reinvention are going to find something more measured than that. On price, the current RX lineup runs from $51,975 for the base RX 350 up to $73,310 for the fully loaded RX 450h Plus Luxury. Kelley Blue Book currently suggests paying $40 to $2,410 below MSRP depending on trim, which means real transaction prices are often meaningfully lower than the sticker suggests. For the 2027 facelift, expect pricing to move slightly upward. A new flagship RX 550h Plus or performance-oriented variant could push the ceiling toward $80,000 to $85,000. That puts it squarely against the BMW X5 and Mercedes GLE at comparable trims. And here is where Lexus wins the argument it has always won, not on performance numbers or cargo space, but on what ownership actually costs over time. Kelley Blue Book awarded the RX its lowest 5-year cost-to-own award in the luxury SUV segment. Lexus backs the vehicle with a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic warranty and a 6-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty. Hybrid efficiency cuts fuel costs. Regenerative braking reduces brake wear. And the reliability record that Toyota's engineering has built into every Lexus product means the maintenance bills that routinely surprise BMW and Mercedes owners after the warranty expires tend not to arrive at the same rate with an RX. Over 5 years, that difference compounds in a way that the sticker price comparison doesn't capture. So here is where the 2026 to 2027 Lexus RX 800h actually lands. The facelift is confirmed and coming. The design is moving in a direction that finally matches the visual ambition the RX's sales numbers have always deserved. The interior is getting the physical controls and display upgrades that should have arrived a generation earlier. And the rumored RX 550h Plus PHEV flagship opens a door to performance territory that the RX has never seriously entered before. The 800h Vision is the boldest version of where that door leads, a flagship hybrid that closes the performance gap against German rivals without sacrificing the refinement, efficiency, and ownership peace of mind that have made the RX the best-selling luxury SUV in America for years. Whether Lexus walks through that door fully or stops at the threshold with a more conservative update will define whether the 2027 RX is remembered as the model year that changed the conversation, or the one that almost did. The prototype at the Nürburgring suggests they know exactly what's at stake. Now we wait to see how brave they're willing to be. Would you choose the 2027 Lexus RX over the BMW X5 or Mercedes GLE? Or does the performance gap still bother you enough to go German? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to MotorDreamer and we'll see you in the next one.